Off. Alexa, off. Quiet. Hey, everybody, this is Matt, and I'm not at Texas Toast Guitars. Today, I am quarantined in my house, and today's video is brought to you by this Siemens COVID test because I tested positive for COVID, coronavirus. And yeah, I am at the house today. I feel halfway decent, but I'm kind of on low speed. So I hope you guys help me out because the show must go on. And thank you, Dwayne, and talk to Doug. Thank you, Doug. Dan, I don't know if they paint a red X on my door or not. I have not been outside since Monday. So I am quarantined in the house. I'm drinking beer and Metamucil to stay alive. Is it okay to drink beer while you have COVID? I don't know. Actually, I haven't had any beer, but you know what? The show must go on. So, yeah. So I am going to have a beer and Metamucil with you guys. It's not Metamucil, but that's funnier if I say that. I don't know if this is true or not, but I did have a doctor once tell me that if I was getting over a cold or the flu, having a beer wasn't the worst thing. I don't know what that was, and that doctor was in Texas. So anyhow, so hey gang, it's Thursday, and yeah, I have been knocking on death's door for the last couple of days, and unfortunately, a lot of other people who have been in close proximity to me are sick too. Now, before I got sick, Dylan, who is not in, well, I don't know if he's in Colorado. I don't know if Dylan and Leslie are in Colorado anymore. They were on their way to Utah, but he was here Saturday and Sunday. I saw him Saturday and we were supposed to get dinner and he's like, I can't do it. I do not have it in me to do. And then on Sunday, I started getting like kind of a little bit chills and some other stuff. And Monday I woke up and I felt okay for a second. And then it was like, nope, you are not okay. So I have been in the house ever since. And anyway, if you guys would help me out, ask some questions, do some of that stuff. Gary says that beer is fine as long as it's Corona. I don't have any. I do have Coors Light in the house, but I don't drink a lot of Coors Light at the house. So, yes. By the way, everybody, Chris is good. He dodged that bullet. And a couple other people who are in the classes dodged the bullet too. And so they are good. But a couple guys got tested, and you know, whether or not you believe in the test being accurate or not, I don't know, but they tested positive. So and I do have all of my vaccines. So yeah, shit happens, I guess. So what are you gonna do? But so anyway, gang, I'm gonna hang out with you guys for an hour. I was just over at the Flipside Music channel just a moment. When I bounce the table like this, my camera goes, because I'm just looking at my computer here. It's doing all the filming. So I'm going to try to stay this side of the table. But I was over at the Flipside channel, and I was hanging out with those guys for a little bit. And so this is part of our primetime guitar Thursday night thing, and so Ike and Dylan have been kicking that off. They have got Excuse me. I'm going to try to not do that. Okay, you guys. But again, work with me if I do. Anyway, so I was hanging out with Dylan and Ike from Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. And they are trying to get their studio room set up where they can do pedal demos and amp demos and guitar demos and stuff like that. Speaking of guitar demos, I have a guitar right here that we could do I have this old guitar for if we decide to do that, if I run out of stuff to talk about. But I do want to talk with you guys tonight. I want to answer your questions. And I believe that I haven't seen Dylan from Dylan Talks Tone, if he is planning on doing a live stream tonight. I have every reason to believe that he is. So if Dylan shows up, he will let us know. And if not, we just have to assume that he is, because this is kind of the deal. So, but yeah, guys, I want to take your questions. Just because I am quarantined in the house drinking beer and Metamucil doesn't mean that I can't answer some guitar building questions and talk with you guys and hang out with you guys, because I think that's totally cool. So let's go to the thing here and see. Oh, here we go. Here we go right here. Democracy in action. Uncle Salty asks, I'll be out in Denver during the building contest. What are the details for the event? Time and is Flipside address on their website good for the event? Okay. Uncle Salty, I do not believe that we will be having the event at Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. It is my understanding that we will be having the event at the shop. That is to say, at Texas Toast Guitars. I am not 100% sure of what the dates are for that. I'll have to look it up. You can look it up on our website. It's texastoastguitars.com. Normally, I would ask Chris what days those were, but Chris isn't here with me. But you know who is? Alexa's here. Alexa, when are the dates for the Great American Guitar Building Contest 2022?
Here's something I found on the web. According to fandom.com, the semifinals began on February 15th, 2022.
Well, that wasn't helpful at all. Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a super chat here. And it's from Dave the Pious, who was with us last week and says, had a fever 2 nights ago, but that's about it. Got better. Thanks for the class. Dave, I am very glad to hear that you are not among the sick and dying from the COVID. A couple guys said that they got sick, and I am one of those guys. So yeah. But yeah, Dave, thanks for that, and thanks for hanging out with us. It was great to have you in the class. Mike says, when will we see the 2023 class schedule on the website? Wife gave me the go ahead to start planning. Mike, that is really cool. So, as you may or may not know, Dylan and I had spent almost all of May hanging out and goofing around. And one of the things that we talked a lot about was classes for 2023. I realized that it's already June, and we should have at least January to June 2023 up on the website, but we don't. And the reason that we don't is because we're trying to figure out Dylan's schedule, because we're going to be adding some pickup winding components to the classes, and seeing if you guys want to get in on some of that stuff. Haven't figured out exactly what we're doing differently, but we do have a bunch of stuff in the works with Steve from Maximum Guitar Works, and 2023 is going to be a big year for us, just like it's going to be a big year for everybody, right? So that's super cool that your wife has said, giving you a hall pass to come out and hang out with us. So yeah, let's just plan on it. What classes would you guys like to see? You know what? That's okay. I have a question for you guys. what classes would you like to see? One of the things that I think we're going to do is we're going to stick with our Build a Classic set, our woodworking classes, Build a Classic Set Neck and Build a Classic Bolt On. I want to talk to you guys about that. If you are signed up, I think we're signed up August, Build a Classic Set Neck is full, but July, Build a Classic Bolt On is not full. And there's a couple reasons for that. One of them is because I think we thought we would do the Build a Classic Set Neck and we'll see what happens. Well, it turns out that's been a really popular class for us. It's just woodworking, and you start with a pile of wood and you do all the woodworking. So it's very intensive, and like you glue a top on and you do binding and you do truss rod and fret slots and of course all the frets and things like that. But we thought, well, let's see if people want to do that, but with a bolt-on neck. And then we thought, well, why not just do it? You can come out and make that guitar be whatever you want. If you want to glue the neck in, you can. If you want to bolt it on, you can. If you want to use maple for the neck, you can. It's not that big of a deal. So we thought, well, let's just combine those two classes. The problem is we didn't change the name because I can't think of what that name would be. So if you guys have any ideas about what that name could be, it could be something as simple as classic guitar woodworking, classic electric guitar woodworking. There you go, something like that. August is, I think, all the way full, but July has spots available. So if you guys are looking to do the woodworking class, July is available, and you can sign up on the website. If you can't figure it out, send me an email, and I'll just send you an invoice, and we'll go from there. We don't have anything scheduled in June, quite frankly, because Chris and I are trying to catch up on a bunch of stuff, and I'm not helping because I'm quarantined. I can't help Chris. So Chris is left to his own devices in the shop this week, and I think he's having a good time not being bothered by me asking him to do dumb stuff. I hear he's doing, he sprayed a bunch of metal flake today. So that's cool. And I'm sure that there are metal flake bits everywhere. It's the herpes of the paint world, you guys. You cannot get rid of it. Okay, Rick B wants to do build a Relic guitar, and the other thing, yeah, and I got those, Rick. I think those are great ideas, Rick. I don't see why not, except for build a Relic guitar. I think I have a problem with using. I don't know how we would do that. Let me think about that. Dave asks, the Build a Classic Bolt-On should stay. He plans on coming back to build the bass. That would be cool. Richard says, I know you're under the weather, Matt. Will we see a bass neck shaping video in the future? Will that have to be from Steve and his famous templates? I don't know the answer to that. We could shape a bass neck. I don't know if I've got anything that's ready to go. Like Richard, your bass neck is already shaped, and your guitar is one of the things that that Chris is working on paint stuff right now. So so there's no need to shape your bass neck. Anyway, I suppose we could do a bass neck. Maybe we could do like a bass class. That might be a fun one to do. A specific purpose bass class, like build a P bass or build a J bass or something like that. That might be neat. Though I do want to start using. Let me tell you guys something that happens in these classes. We start to put rules out there, and people don't necessarily follow the rules. So what happens is we have to spend more time on bodies because people show up with templates that are not on the approved template list. And they want to do other cool stuff. So neck shaping is going to have to be a thing that is going to take up a turn. We're going to start doing necks a little differently. And Steve at Maximum Guitars is going to help us with that. We touched on that a little bit last week, and I'm going to have more for you guys coming up in the future. But before I get too far away, let's take a super chat from ER Webster, who says, have a Metamucil on me. Glad you are feeling better. Take care of yourself. Looking forward to June 18th. So much so I finished my neck twice. Okay, very cool. Very cool, sir. Looking forward to seeing you, ER. Lauren Court asks for a 6-day carve top class. Yeah, that would be cool to do a carve top class. Specifically if it was woodworking only. Yeah, I think that would be a cool one. I don't know if we could do it in 6 days. I know I could. I don't know if you guys could. I would have to whip and spur you guys. But why not? Why couldn't we try it, right? All right. Thank you, ER. Let's take a super chat from Doug Santaniello. He says, I'm rooting for ER. Matt, name the class anything you want. I'm coming. Thank you, Doug. Doug he is really one of our patron saints, and we are not where we are if it weren't for Doug and for Coors Beer. So speaking of Coors Beer, my friend Jim Jimmy is here. Hey, Jim. I'm feeling so much better. I sent Jim a message the other day. He sent me a thing. He's like, hey man, if you need anything, let me know. And I didn't get back to him because I'm like, my eyes were I couldn't focus on the little screen and text, So the next day I got back to him and I'm like, man, I feel like I've been shot at and missed and shit at and hit. And I feel better today. But we'll see. I don't want to get anybody else sick. Whether this test is accurate or not, I can tell you this much. I'm sick. And I don't want anybody else to get sick either, whatever it happens to be. So, because it sucks, no one wants to get sick. So if you're sick, stay home. How about that? Doesn't matter what you're sick with. If you're sick with a booty cootie, stay home. Who's got the booty cootie? All right. Beer and Metamucil. Okay. So let's see. Get some rest. Shark Air. I just started, man. I mean, I've been sleeping a lot. So yeah, we're trying to protect Chris at all costs. Like I say, guys, I am sick. If you're just now joining us, I'm not feeling so great, but Chris is doing well. So, and I'm not going into the shop to push Chris's luck to get him sick, because I don't want anybody to get sick. Whoever gave this to me, though, I want them to run out of toilet paper and like have to get up off the bowl and like with a poopy butt and run to the closet, because yeah. Anyway, Dave said he didn't have the booty cootie before he got to. He must have went to the Players Club. We are right down the street from one of Denver's most notorious gentlemen's clubs. And it's an extraordinary gentlemen's club. It's in a league. Anyway. So I want to talk with you guys about classes. I want to talk to you about upcoming classes. And I want to talk to you about a couple of things. If you haven't seen, something recently happened. Gibson won a lawsuit against Dean and Dean Guitars, Armadillo Music, I think is what it is. And essentially, let me sum it up for you. Essentially what it is that they won a trademark or copyright, or so I think it's trademark, that some of their body shapes are iconic and trademarked. And those shapes are in, and these probably aren't all of them, the V, the Explorer, the SG, and the ES, and maybe some other electrics. And I think the Hummingbird might be one too, acoustic. But so it is, now is the time, you guys, to start making your own guitar shapes. and to start. Well, how about this? If you really want to make something that you just want to make one of, if you want to kind of do a cover of a guitar that you always loved, or if you want to build your own tribute to a guitar, now may be one of your last chances to do that. I say this because Steve over at Maximum Guitar Works, one of our friends and one of our industry partners, link in the description below to Steve. It might not be, I think that Gibson will probably say, you know what, you can make whatever you want as long as you don't try to sell it. And frankly, they're not going to go after like a little guy trying to make, but I know that Rickenbacker does. Rickenbacker goes after their intellectual property with a vengeance. And it is not unheard of for someone to say, no, you can't sell templates for Flying V anymore. It's a long shot, but maybe, right? Hear me out. So now's a great time to, if you've ever thought about making one of those, now's your time to do that. And like I said, we've got classes. July has spots available, and I think we're sold out for August, but maybe not. I think we might have one spot left, but maybe none. So now dig this. So imagine what would happen if I said, well, we're not selling the Explorer style body, or we're not selling a Flying V. And Gibson said, aha, but you are offering a course called Build a Classic Set Neck. And one of the things that somebody could make is a Flying V. Now, it is possible, though highly unlikely, that I could get a cease and desist. That is to say, Chris and I could get a cease and desist letter from Gibson saying, you can no longer teach people. It's, like I said, very unlikely, but maybe. So if you've ever thought about doing that, now's a great time. Or Steve at Maximum might say, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm not going to make this SG template anymore. Or I'm not going to make these Flying V templates. I'm going to make my fit all stuff, and you guys can design whatever you want, and the body can be whatever shape you want it to be. And that's cool. Again, I don't know what Steve's plans are. And I would think Steve would have to get a lot more heat before he started to do that. But like I say, now is a great time to kind of flex your I want to make that guitar muscle. So yeah, so if you're thinking about coming out and building a classic set neck, now might be a good time to do it. And I tell you what, I'm not going to stop making SGs. I just can't sell them. I can make as many as I want. I can give them away if I want. So yeah, but I can't sell them. So if you've got a Texas Toast Prostitute, cool. You might not be able to get one later. I don't know what the rules are going to be. The other thing that I want to talk about is, what if you guys wanted to build your own guitar and you've got a shape in your head that you're like, you know what, I really want to do this shape that I made up. Somebody had to make it up. You could make one up too. What if somebody did that and you always wanted to make that guitar? Well, now's a great time to do that. And like I said, Steve at Maximum Guitar Works can help with his fit all template set, whether you're using bolt-on or set neck style. Bolt-on like the Fender style, or Steve has a set neck one that is the exact same set neck template that we use for the Challenger. It's the same thing like the Paul Reed Smith uses. Gibson has used them on some guitars. Hamer used a lot of it. That's that kind of wedge-shaped guitar neck that lots of people have used. Frankly, if you're going to copy something from Gibson, I don't know why anybody would want to copy the Mortise and Tenon neck joint. I think those are dumb, but that's just me. So, and you know what? A lot of people think that I'm dumb. Anyway, so let's check out what you guys are talking about here. The Survival Gardening Channel. Let's see. Richard asks, there's different Flying V shapes out there besides Gibson's, tried and true V or any other. Yeah, you're right, man. there's lots of things out there, but yeah, don't like I said, don't use this as an opportunity to go, oh, it's never going to happen to me. Why not just go out and get the guitar that you've been wanting to make and make something cool. Rick B sends a super chat and says, for some remedial beer drinking. Thank you so much, Rick. I haven't had any beer for a long time. It just sounded good. Plus, having a beer with you guys is kind of what I do on Thursday nights. So, again, I don't know. This is part of our primetime or guitar primetime Thursday night, many hours of guitar stuff. I'm not sure if has anyone heard from or seen anything from Dylan. I don't know. I haven't talked to him for a while. Chris talked to him the other day. And I think Joy talked with Leslie last night. So I think that they're okay, but I don't know if they're planning on doing a live stream tonight. Anyhow, Dan asks, what do you think about Lizzie Hale and her Explorer bird being the first female for Gibson? Well, Dan, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know anything about that. Let's see what my since Chris isn't here, my co-host might be able to help us out. Alexa, what do you think about Lizzie Hale and her Explorer bird?
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
There you go. Sorry, neither me or my co-host has heard of that. Shark Air says an SG giveaway. Count me in. Shark Air, if you buy my pen, I'll give you the SG. That's been the way it's been for a couple weeks. Speaking of old videos, guys, I'm sorry I didn't have a video this weekend. Like I said, I've been sick and I just haven't had a whole lot of wherewithal to do video stuff, and I'm just now getting back to where I feel well enough to even be on the Thursday live stream. So more videos coming. I've got a bunch of neat stuff happening in the works. I just have to do it, and I just haven't felt up to it. But coming soon. Okay. All right. Jimmy says that Leslie talked to Leslie today and said they were in California doing well. Okay, good. That is good to hear. So, yeah, I think that Dylan probably will be doing a Thursday live video. So, okay. Well, so let's see. We talked about the Gibson lawsuit. We talked about, excuse me, guys. I know I said I was going to try to not do that, and here I am doing it. So yeah, making your own guitar is something that you can still do. You can still rock in America, and you can still make your own version of a guitar that you've always loved. And I've always loved SGs. In fact, my first guitar was an SG and my second guitar was an SG. And I wish I still had them both, but I don't. And I think they're cool. They're super cool. And yeah, but I don't think that as a manufacturer, I can make the SG shape any longer. Not that Gibson cares what I do, because I am small potatoes, but I did that. I did that video where I was like, the video Gibson doesn't want you to see. And somebody sent me a thing today. They're like, why would Gibson care what you think? I'm like, they don't, man. It's tongue in cheek. Gibson does not know I'm alive, much less care what I'm doing. So anyway, Beavis says, Matt, is there any way to predict a piece of wood will develop a twist before you turn it into a neck? Well, sir, yes and no. The best way to tell is to look for things like run out. If you have a board, let's say for the sake of conversation that this COVID tester is a board. If the grain is all running straight, that's a good sign. If the grain starts going out like this, run out, okay? Avoiding run out is a good thing. Now that's not like if your board doesn't have run out, that doesn't mean it's not going to twist. But that's something that you want to look for in a neck. The other thing that you want to do is let the wood stabilize. Now, this is something that people don't quite grasp all the time. And SS, we're not going to have Alexa do that right now, because if I say, Alexa, play Hair of the Dog.
Hair of the Dog by Nazareth on Amazon Music.
See, there you go. Alexa's a little bit better at playing music than Chris is, but Alexa, stop. So, but there you go. Thank you for the $5 Hair of the Dog. I wasn't sure if we were going to get the Nazareth version or the Guns N' Roses, the Tons of Poses video. Alexa, who's buried in Grant's tomb?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, Ulysses S. Grant and wife Julia. Did that answer your question?
I guess. Yeah, you know what? Having Alexa as a co-host is kind of funny. Rick B wants, Alexa, tell me about Skynet.
Here's what I found from the web.
Skylar Andrews, a.k.a. Scorpio Sky, is the reigning champion of all elite wrestling. He started out as a fan of pro wrestling as well as a black wrestler.
All right, Alexa, that's plenty. Enough, Alexa. Quiet. Okay. So I hope you're all switched on to the whole Skynet thing. The pen is $2,000. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry if I am asking your ALEXA to do things. ALEXA to do things. I can't spell. I'm sorry if I'm asking your device to do things. That is very funny, though. So anyway, back to finding wood that is that you can make sure isn't going to twist on you. Letting the wood stabilize in your shop is one of the very most important things that you can do. And if it starts to, and what I mean by that is not like let it dry or let it acclimate or something like that. But just let it sit in your shop for a while. And if the board sits in your shop for a while and goes like this, that's a really good indicator that it's not going to be a good neck. If it's a thick board and it goes like this and you plane it, also not a great thing to say, yeah, thumbs up, let's use that. But remember, wood doesn't like twist, it relaxes. So what's really happening is if you get a piece of lumber that looks great and it's got a bunch of stress in it, it's not going to make a good neck. So yeah, buy from a good reputable source and avoid run out. Look for nice straight grain, and that's all you can really do. A truss rod will not help you when it comes to twisting. So, okay. Let's see. Okay. Rick B says it's supposed to say I have nothing to do with Skynet. Lauren Court asks, neck kits, any future options like scale length, choices in radius, 24, 24, 7.5, and 25. Actually, Lauren, that is a great question. And the answer to that is there will be no more options with neck kits from Texas Toast Guitars. That is to say, there will be no future project neck options when it comes to Texas Toast Guitars, because we are going to get out of the neck building business. We decided that the project necks are no longer something that we want to do. We might have a few of them, but what we have is what we have, and once they're gone, we no longer intend to make them anymore. But I am working on Steve from Maximum Guitars to do those for you guys. If you guys really like them, like I said, I think that Steve is sort of testing that water and seeing what is available. I know that he's working with John and Cheryl at Bitterroot Guitars for truss rods now on some of his neck projects that I want him to do for us. So don't be surprised if in the future there are project necks available from Steve at Maximum Guitar Works. But when it comes to options and things like that, I have no idea what Steve's plan is. So, okay. Greg says improper kiln drying can cause issues as well. I don't think there's supposed to be questions at the end of it, but Greg put those on there so that I would see them. So, so yes, Greg, you're right. Improper kiln drying can cause issues as well. Conan Mills says that he got his first order from Tonewood Experts. Excellent. That is good to know. Yeah, and I hope that those guys, I know those guys treated you well because Dan and Calvin are cool dudes. So yeah, so I'm glad that you guys are still getting stuff from them. Doug Kaufman called me today and wants Chris to know that he should watch out because I'm planning on replacing him with Alexa. That is not true. Alexa, what's your major malfunction?
I love a good movie quote.
Oh, you do? What's a good movie quote? Really? Alexa, what's a good movie quote?
Here you go.
Well, that's stupid. Thanks for nothing, Alexa. Okay. Dave the Pious says those necks Steve brought by are definitely boutique quality. Yes, they are, Dave. We're going to have a bunch of Gucci stuff from Steve coming up in the future for all of our classes. And I know you guys are going to dig them. So, so bummed. Nice flaming maple neck, bound ebony board, hand cut blocks, and now a twist. That sucks, man. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, dude, but yeah, that is a bummer. JVan B231 asks, are the neck pockets on the classic Telly student builds a match for standard Fender American Telly necks, specifically ones prior to Steve's templates? Yeah, so all of the stuff that we get from Steve works with the stuff that we get from Steve. So if you show up to one of our build classes and you're building a Telly, let's say, we're working with Steve so that the necks that you get, once they are finished, will fit snugly in the neck pocket made by one of Steve's templates. Cool. Now, what your previous templates look like, I can't say, but I think that one of the things that we did with Steve is we're like his neck was very snug, which is cool, but we wanted it to be not quite so snug. So we're like, can you slim this down a little bit? Because what happens is once you add thickness in terms of finish, even if it's a little bit, I mean, imagine this. If you've got a neck that's really tight, so tight that you can put it in the neck pocket and pick the whole guitar up without having the neck attached with screws. If you all of a sudden add a piece of paper around that neck in finish thickness, it won't fit in the neck pocket anymore. You'll have to force it in. So you don't want it to be too tight. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be tighter than Dick's hat band. You want it to be nice and snug and fit properly. And there's a problem that guitar builders and who are on internet forums, and I am susceptible to it too. We forget that there is a difference between tolerance and clearance. So, and I always talk about this stacking tolerances. And if you get off a 32nd here, turns into a 16th here, turns into an 1/8 here, turns into a 1/4 here. That's a real thing, stacking tolerances. But there's also clearances. And clearance is something that is a machine has to be able to work. It has to be able to fit together. It has to be able to move when it's designed to move and not move when it's designed to not move. And if it's a 1-to-1 fit, like a neck and a neck pocket, well, that's no good. And whether you're talking about it's so tight that you're gonna glue it in, and you smear glue all over the neck pocket, and now all of a sudden the neck pocket swells and gets smaller, or you put glue on the outside of the neck and the neck swells and gets bigger and it won't fit in because I've had that happen before, guys, where like I've got the neck so tight that they didn't glue up right, because I thought, well, these have to be so unbelievably tight, and I couldn't get them to glue because they just would not go in, and I was bashing them with hammers trying to get them to go in. That was a long, long time ago, and I have since learned that you have to have a little bit of clearance. Tolerance and clearance, two very separate things. Okay. All right. What do we have here? Could there be a build your own challenger class in the future? Chuck, if I have anything to say about it, there won't be. Because a challenger is my own guitar, and I want to make all of those guitars. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you guys don't think that I'm being too dicky about that. But yeah, the fact of the matter is that, yeah, I'd really like, and here's why. I don't want anyone to walk out of my shop with a guitar that they sold in a month or a year or 10 years. And then somebody said, well, this is Matt built this. If you're going to walk out with a challenger, then I want it to be one that I built. Now, if you want to come and you want to build your own guitar and it happens to look like a challenger, okay, that's fine. But I don't want there to be a challenger class. So yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no to that one. Hot pink, durable, thin finish. Yeah, I don't see why not, Dave. In fact, I think the durable thin finish is cool. You know, our durable thin finish is really neat. And Chris and I came up with that for these classes, for our workshops. And it was designed to be a finish that everybody got to pick a cool color. Because when I was at Roberto Venn, everybody left and their guitars were exactly the same. They were all mahogany, so they were all brown, and that's cool. But nobody got to be like, hey, I want a black one, or I want a red one, or I want a hot pink one. There was talk of doing that, but I never saw any of that paint. So in fact, I remember John Roberts himself handed me a piece of mahogany, and he said, that's really nice mahogany. You're not going to paint it, are you? And I'm like, no, I guess not. And but I never saw any paint. Like, I mean, I never saw like blue paint or anything like that. It was, you got clear lacquer. So we came up with the durable thin finish because we wanted people to be able to pick their color and choose what color they wanted. And we wanted something that could be done very quickly and very coolly, and looked good and was fast. I realize I said that twice. I'm redundant. Now I'm seeing, and I don't know which came first, but I suspect it was Chris and I had seen some stuff like this, finishes like this. And now Kiesel has a bunch of stuff like this. And they got such a cool name for it. They're calling it the Raw Tone finish. Ah, what a great finish name. What an awesome name. And durable thin finish is a very clinical name. But now that I've heard the Raw Tone, I'm like, man, that sounds badass. We need to come up with a new name for the durable thin finish. So good on Kiesel for coming up with marketing that excellently. Let's see. Conan Mills says, question first, then drill holes for he said, question. Finish first, then drill holes for hardware, or drill holes for hardware, then finish. Well, what I would say, Conan, is it depends on what finish you're going to use and what holes you're planning on using. And really, it's more of a question of wet sand first and then drill holes, or drill holes first and then finish and then wet sand. What you don't want to do, I think what I really like to do is build the guitar and then seal it and then drill all the holes for, like, say, tune-o-matic and stop tail. Then do all the finish work, and then whatever finish that you put on after that is so thin that if any of it goes in that hole, you can just kind of mash stuff in there, and it's no big deal. So yeah, the question is, drill holes first, yes, or finish first, yes. I would say build the guitar, seal the guitar, drill the holes, then spray finish, then go ahead and assemble. Beavis says he's got to duck out early, get well soon. Thank you so much, my friend. Do all the challengers have the same neck shape? Yes, they do, as a matter of fact. And the reason that is because I build all the necks for them and I shape all the necks for them. So it's funny, if you've ever taken a build class from me where there's a neck shaping component, I shape a neck on the deadhead sander for everybody to see, and they're all about the same, because I do so many of them that I just kind of get in this groove and I just go for it, and it happens. And yeah, so they're all about 8-6 at the first fret and 9-0 at the 12th fret, and nice C shape. And that's just how I make them. If somebody really wanted a different neck, I mean, like if someone said, I really want a big thick. Someone said, I want a big thick D. Well, yeah, I mean, we can certainly do that for you. No, yeah, we can shape a neck, but for the most part, I think that neck shape is big enough for people who like a chunky neck to feel good about, and slim enough for even except for like guys who are like really into those teeny tiny necks. It's still little enough for them. It's not like a great big, like a 50s style Gibson or the Paul Reed Smith McCarty neck. Those are big, but it's also not super skinny. The Gibson 60s neck is it's real slim under the nut, or the first fret, and it actually gets quite a bit bigger than it needs to at the 12th fret. They go from about 8-0 to 9-1 or 9-2, 8-0 at the first fret and 9-1, 9-2 at the 12th fret. I've been using this Fender Custom Shop neck that we have for a Telly, and it's 8-6 to 9-0, and I've just been using that for everything. I love that shape, and so yeah. So there you go. Dave says, kudos on the durable thin. It's more impressive in person than I thought. It is a cool finish, David. I'm glad you like it, sir. Ed says, call it the slightly toasted. Ed, we would call it the slightly. I don't like to do anything slightly, though. I want to be the totally annihilated. But yeah, Kiesel did a great job with his, who I don't know who the marketing guy is there, but yeah, the raw tone. That's a great name. That's not a neck anymore. That's a shaft. Okay. All right. Well, so let's see. I think I'm going to hold this. I have this old guitar for a little bit longer, because we're already. This went a lot faster than I thought it was going to, you guys. So if you have any more questions, we've got about 12 more minutes before. Looks like Spike said Dylan hasn't posted anything about a new video for tonight, so maybe he's not doing one. I don't know the answer to that. Let's just send him a quick message here. Let's see if Dylan is going to do this. We're gonna see if we can cheat here, and I'm gonna send him a message while I'm on the video with you guys. Hey Dylan, are you guys doing a live stream tonight? Okay, we're going to find out here in a moment if he gets back to me. Dave says, base build in a class, would the neck have reinforcement? Dave, if I were offering a base build class, the neck would absolutely have reinforcement. Because I think that neck reinforcement on a base neck is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And if I had my druthers, I would rather it be steel than graphite or carbon fiber. So, E.R. Webster asks, what are the potential causes of solvent pop? Little tiny white bubbles groups under the clear. You got a contaminant on your finish, man. And Chris, I know Chris is watching, but he'll tell you too. You got something on the guitar that you need not have on the guitar. And how you get it off is you need to wipe it down with Vinyl Wipe. You need to use a tack cloth. You need to wipe it down with Vinyl Wipe, et cetera, et cetera. You've got something on there that is that you don't want. Oh, Chris says wax. Yeah. Anyhow, oh, Dylan says no, they will not be doing one tonight. So that's how he gets rid of bat wings. I don't. Oh, SS said that. Okay. Could it be oil from my finger? Yeah, it absolutely could be, sir. Yeah, any sort of contaminant, even something that you're like, nah, that won't do it. You know, one of the neat things about lacquer is you can spray that over just about anything, and it's hard to get. We used to get fish eyes when we would spray lacquer, and sometimes what would happen is lacquer is a tricky thing to work with, except for when it's not, and it's an easy thing to work with, except for when it isn't. And yeah, so here we go, guys. Dylan says he's taking the whole week off from everything. So yeah, so there you go. That does not mean that I'm going to go another hour. So Spike, if you're doing a live stream later tonight, you should take the reins, sir. Yeah, Lefty O says paint from your finger or oil from your fingers will ruin paint. Yeah, it will, man. Lots of stuff will ruin paint. I'm about to sneeze. Go. Man. All right. This is the most talking I've done. I know you guys are going to find this hard to believe. This is the most talking that I have done all week long. I have just sort of sat in the death chair and laid in bed, and all week long I've just felt like turd. So so it's catching up with me. I'm sneezing and coughing, and I need to blow my nose, and it's a good thing my hour is almost up. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to finish this beer. Okay. Let's see if we've got a few more questions here. And there's a couple different options here. Silicone contamination. That's a bummer of a one. Crappy spray gun. You could have a contaminant in the spray gun. That's for sure. Rick B asks, Matt or Chris, do you know if StewMax vinyl sealer is close to Simtex? I can tell you this much, Rick. StewMax sealer is like Simtex sealer in that they're both sealers, but one is very different from the other. Can they be used interchangeably? Maybe, but they're not the same thing. A sanding sealer is that vinyl sanding sealer mostly has a bunch of like almost soap kind of particles in it, and it's very, very soft. Simtex sanding sealer sands very easily, but by comparison, might as well be a rock compared to vinyl sanding sealer. Can they both be used to seal wood? Yes. Are they the same thing? In that they're both sealer? Yes. But are they the molecularly and chemically the same? No. Can I smell and taste okay? Yeah, I can smell and taste okay. I'm not, you know what's funny though? Not all foods taste the same. So yeah, some foods like coffee taste the same. Bread tastes the same. But anything with like lots of ingredients in it doesn't taste the same to me. Bananas taste really good. Some things though, like I had some pizza the other day and it was like, it didn't taste good. So anyway, so yeah, so it looks like Chris is jumping in, answering some questions here. Well, guys, I think let's go ahead and wrap this one up because I need to probably get ready for bed. I've got a guitar here that maybe we can do for next time we do. I have this old guitar, but I need to blow my nose and get ready to call it a night. And maybe we'll do this guitar next time. I don't even know if I'll be able to leave the house before then or not. Because like I said, I don't want to get anybody else sick. So Spike says, feel better. He talked to his dad. He's doing okay. That's good to hear, sir. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, thank you, Dan. I hope I feel better soon too. I'm feeling better. It's just, it's just slow but sure, right? So what can you do? So thank you, Joe. I will. And guys, if any of you were at the class last week and you're feeling poorly, I hope that you get to feeling better soon too. I think Dylan is. Thank you, Keith. I think Dylan is doing well. He is. He's in California. It sounds like, and they're taking the week off and some much deserved rest before they hit the NAMM show. So. Yeah. All right. I am going to, as ER has pointed out, I'm going to take it easy and stay hydrated. This is actually not Metamucil. It's electrolyte water. But it's funnier to say that I'm drinking beer and Metamucil. So, all right, gang. I don't know if we're going to do a reveal tomorrow, but I know for a fact that Chris has some guitars that he could reveal. So, I don't know. Maybe Chris will hook up the camera at the shop tomorrow and give you guys a quick reveal video. So that would be cool. So guys, thanks for hanging out with me, and thanks for hanging out with Ike and Dylan from Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. I want you to thank all of my my industry partners, Flipside Music, the great American guitar store, Dylan McCurchie and Dylan Talks Tone, Dylan Pickups, Steve from Maximum Guitar Works. We've got more videos coming where we're using some stuff from Steve's. Lots and lots and lots of cool stuff coming from Steve, including some new truss rods that he's buying from John and Cheryl at Bitterroot Guitars. And those are going to be a thing very, very soon. So watch Steve for more from him on those. Dan and Calvin from Tonewood Experts. Guys, if you are in the market for Tonewood, I just got 20 awesome mahogany bodies for Build a Classic Set Neck. And that is going to be super cool. They look like $1 million. And Chris and Dina from Odyssey Beer Works, the great American Beer Works. So, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you next Thursday. This is Matt from Texas Toast, reminding you that life is short. You might as well have a cool guitar, and this may be your last chance to build one for yourself. We don't know how much time we have on this world, you guys. So quit screwing around. Make something cool. All right. Have a good one, you guys. We'll talk to you later.